Hey, how's it going, y'all? Welcome back to the Gil Podcast. This podcast is about me, Gil, and the things that I'm currently obsessed with. On today's podcast, I want to talk about the situation that happened with my truck, how it was vandalized. It had its catalytic converter stolen. I want to talk about the money and the whole process that was, how everything was being dealt with. How much I end up spending. I want to talk about my YouTube channel, how it's growing. that's always good. The strategy that I'm applying and how I'm going to be able to try to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Yeah, let's just jump into it. So last week, Friday, I went to work. I got off around 1 o'clock, maybe like one. Yeah, I think it was like 1 o'clock. And I started lugging equipment into my truck around 1 a.m. till maybe like 3 to 4. I'd wake up, put some stuff extra in the truck, maybe like a tripod, a light stand, some lights. And I was debating on putting my camera stuff in there, like the Rodecaster Pro, the microphones. And I said, nah. Sometimes depending on the situation, I would recommend a photographer or, DP, whoever, put the camera or lens in the vehicle and not inside of a home or office due to condensation. If you live in South Florida and you're a photographer, I pray you never have to deal with a wedding shoot or a sunrise shoot that's like in the morning and you have your camera and lens inside of your air-conditioned home or office and you take it out to shoot in the morning. You will never be able to capture any images due to condensation. I have some really powerful cases. I have some really good camera cases that I keep my equipment in. It pretty much takes away the temperature of the room. So I bring these camera cases downstairs sometimes. They work great. I like to put them in the truck sometimes before a shoot, but I'm like, nah, it's fine. So I'm just gonna like keep them downstairs and charge extra batteries. That's what I decided to do. Good thing I did that because around I narrowed it down because I was coming in and out the house around like 4 a.m., maybe around 6 or 5 a.m. Somebody decided to crawl under my truck and saw off my catalytic converter. Now you're like, what the heck does that even mean, Gil? Well, it means that catalytic converter is a piece of equipment. I have two under my truck. They I don't even really know how they work exactly, but I know how they work. They take the fumes and the exhaust from the air from the engine and expel it to the muffler. And I have two catalytic converters that break down that fume. That way my truck isn't loud and it doesn't have smog or smoke coming out of the muffler. Now, without a catalytic converter, your truck is really loud. Your car is really loud. It's obnoxious. You have fumes just spewing out. They're not treated. It's really bad, and it's a horrible time. So around 7, 8 o'clock, I got up to head to my client's shoot early. I get inside my truck, turn the key to start the car, and at 0.2 seconds, I knew that my catalytic converter was stolen. My truck made a crazy loud noise from the muffler as if it had like no exhaust, which it didn't. There was no way for the exhaust and the muffler and my truck to even communicate because there's something called an O2 sensor missing. So the truck doesn't know how hot the exhaust fumes are going. The catalytic converters, I have two, both of them were gone, and it sucked. But to be honest with you, I was upset, but then I said, let me go check on my neighbors. So I have a couple of neighbors and we have the same truck. Mind you, we don't really speak. He has a Tacoma, I have a Tacoma. He's this, older, white guy. No, he's a Brazilian guy. So he's an older Brazilian guy. I knocked on his door and he didn't want to open the door. He spoke to me from the bathroom window. Like he slid open the window. What? I'm like, hey, how's it going? He's like, what do you want? I'm like, hey, I live two doors down. I just letting you know that my catalytic converter was stolen. Maybe yours was taken too. She's like, what did you take? I'm like, I didn't take anything. I'm just letting you know that you might have been a victim like me. So before I walked over there, me and my wife, we called the cops. The cops were on their way. So I'm talking to the guy and he's like, what did you take? I'm like, I didn't take anything. So there was like a weird language barrier. So I told him, just come outside and get inside your truck. He's like, oh no, I'm good. I'm good. I was like, no, listen, cops are coming. I need to know that if you weren't the only one affected, I wasn't the only one affected. I need to know that maybe you were affected. And if you were, then our other neighbor that has the same truck as us was also affected. So I finally kind of like break down simply what he needs to do. He comes outside, he puts the key in the ignition, turns it, and he's like, what is that? What did you do? What happened? What is this? I was like, yeah, that's your catalytic converter. It's gone. I got under his truck. Our truck isn't lifted, but it is pretty lifted. So you can kind of get under it. Actually, you can get under it completely. So we got under it and I showed him what's missing. He's like, wow, they cut it? And I'm like, yep, they cut mine, they cut yours. I went to my other neighbor before the cops got there, and his catalytic converter was stolen as well. And it's like, oh, okay. Life kind of sucks sometimes. And the cops pretty much gave us a police report. Nothing we can really do. Even the cop even showed me a offer up ad. Hey, this person posted this a hour or two ago. Like this could be, the person who stole everything. I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. I need to get going to my shoot. My podcast. I was doing a indoor podcast event for this workspace called the Co-Space in Miami Gardens. So I was running late. I called the owner and I told her, listen, my car was just vandalized. I'm a lot behind, but I'm on the way. She had no idea what I was talking about. She's like, hey, whatever, when you get here. But it wasn't until I think I explained to her when I got there what actually happened. That's when she was like, whoa, what the heck? Yeah, it's like not too many people know the severity of this situation. So long story short, woke up one morning and my catalytic converter was stolen from my truck. All right. Here's the most annoying part. I want to fix this as soon as possible because I have a company trip that I want to take, that I'm taking, not that I want to take, and I want to drive my truck up there so I can do my own content. I can lug equipment. I can bring lights, tripods, and all this other stuff in the hotel room that the company will be providing me. So I'm like attaching pipes, and, things to make the truck run. And it worked. I set up a straight pipe from the engine to the muffler and it worked. My car was now silent. And basically, I could have honestly left it like that. It would have been like a $40 fix. The truck was driving fine. And then I accelerated a little bit and the truck went into limp mode, which is like fail safe mode. So if you're with me, I had pretty much started with all the parts and stuff. Maybe it was around maybe like $70 for like all the parts to get everything started. Like $70. Going to AutoZone, discount auto parts, putting stuff together. Yeah, it was pretty annoying, but I couldn't get it to work. So then now I'm on the company trip and I'm carpooling with another coworker. So I couldn't bring my cameras, I couldn't bring my lights, I couldn't bring anything. I only brought a low profile arm and a Wave DX mic, my Rodecaster Pro 2, and one camera, the A7 IV, and that was it. I couldn't bring anything else. I brought my laptop, but if I had my truck, I could bring everything or more and pretty much have a studio in the hotel room, right? So, I mean, even though I didn't bring a lot of stuff, I still was able to go live I think it was like 3 or 2 days out while I was there. I think it was like 3 days. And I was able to go live and create content. It was great. But I had to come back home eventually. I think I was gone for 4 days. And me and the coworker, we drove back and I'm back to reality. So my truck doesn't drive past 20 miles an hour, which was super annoying. But it's great because that means that my truck says, hey, there's something that could be potentially wrong with your vehicle. So instead of us pretending and throwing you a check engine light and saying, go check with the mechanic and letting you drive normally, it has a fail safe mode where it just drives at 20 miles an hour, limp mode. It drives so slow that you have no other choice but to take it to the mechanic shop. And that's when I went online to figure out how much it would cost for a factory Toyota catalytic converter. So, like I said, my truck has two. It would have cost around $3,000 to $4,000, not including labor. So I said, okay, well, I'm gonna find another spot. I found a mom and pop's muffler shop. It was more so like dad and father daughter, and they helped me install the catalytic converters in my truck. And it was around $1,100. Not around, it was $1,100. It was a pretty hefty thing, and I got everything situated, and I was not able to fully drive the truck back from the muffler shop. And they're like, "Oh yeah, you're going to need an O2 sensor. Just get the O2 sensor, and we'll install it." I could install it myself. I'm like, I don't need y'all to install it. I could just get under here and install it myself. Like it's not a big deal. But they've said my truck has some codes and they'll need to clear them. So the truck has a code and it's locked in, and it's not until they have to clear it they'll have to clear it in order for everything to get situated. So I say, oh darn it. Okay. I'll just buy an O2 sensor, come back and y'all install it. Perfect. I couldn't find one for a reasonable price. They were just like $300, $400, $200, $20 to $22. There was such a huge price difference where I was like, where do I go? What do I do here? I did my research and this one is telling me it's the right one, but it's cheaper than this other one. It was a lot. So I ended up taking a few days, and what did I do? I think I was trying to go to Amazon. I was trying to go to eBay, but it would have took too long and I needed the truck to work. There, while trying to figure everything out with my truck, I still have shoots with clients and I'm renting a Turo. So I signed up for Turo like literally, and I signed up for it like right away, and I was able to rent a Sprinter van or a Dodge van ProMaster the same day of me signing up for a tour, like literally like a few seconds of me signing up my credentials and stuff, and I had a car. I was able to drive to the location, pick up the vehicle and everything. It was like, what the heck? No credit check, nothing. Okay, weird or cool, I guess. Anyways, so I have a Turo and I have equipment in there, and then I have shoots that I'm going to. I had a whole event in Miami where I had like an outdoor podcast and everything. But the whole time I'm thinking, oh gosh, I wish I had my truck. But eventually I found the Note 2 sensor at a Toyota dealership near me. Went there. It was like let me see. Actually, the, let me throw in the cost for the Turo. Because you got to remember, I would not have been paying for the Turo if the car wasn't vandalized. And the Turo was $348. So now we're currently at $1,528 in expenses, not including Uber. Let's throw in some Uber. I think I did like a couple Ubering. So I'm like paying for this thing, right? So, anyways, let me see. So it was like at 15. I want to make sure I got a calculator right because I'm like, let's see how much it really was. 358. So we're currently at 1528. So 1528 plus, let's say, $30. So we're at 1558. I just round that up to 60. 1560. And then the O2 sensor was actually 250. Yep. So it was 250, like 258. So now we're at 1818. Not to mention like just the aggravation. So I had to drive back to the muffler shop to install the O2 sensor. And they installed it and they were clearing out the codes, and there were a couple codes that they couldn't clear. So they're like, "Oh, you're gonna have to go to the factory. This code is for the factory." And I'm like, "Okay, can you tell me what it is? Because if you tell me what it is, I could like learn to just fix it myself." And they're like, "You're gonna have to take it to the factory." I'm like, "Well, is my car running fine?" They're like, "No, it's still in limp mode." I'm like, "Okay, well, that sucks." So right now we're at like, was it 1818? I said 1818, and I still can't drive my car the way I want it to. So then I bring it to Toyota, and that's for overnight. So I had to overnight it for 175. So that was 175 for overnight. So we're at 1993. And then it was a $10 fix. It was like $10. They said it was a fuse that was blown. So we're at 2003. I know there's like another expense that I did that I was like, what the heck? Because when I did the math earlier in my head, it was close to like $2,200. I feel like I'm missing something. You know what? There was a whole lot of other there was a whole lot of other things that I tried. And I think I said $80 initially for AutoZone and Discount Auto Parts. It was a hell of a lot more than that. I mean, yeah, that's what it was. I had spent close to, oh, also I did get another diagnostic. So I think it was like $2,100. So in total, $2,100, $2,200 spent on everything with Turo, the Ubering, all that. It was like $2,100. And what you're saying, well, Gil, you got your catalytic converter replaced, fixed. It wasn't a Toyota one. I'm using a universal one. So if they try to steal it, it can't really do anything with it. It's like a cheapo one. And you're probably saying, so the whole issue was a fuse the whole time? No. I needed to get a new catalytic converter. I needed to get the L2 sensor installed, and I needed to get the codes cleared first. Then I needed to, what am I looking for? I'm like spacing out. And then I had to get Toyota to have it overnight. And then they found the issue being a blown fuse. And then they were able to replace it with a $10 fuse. But I needed to do all those things first in order to fix everything. So yeah, that's that. I know you're like 20 minutes of all that. Like, yeah, it's a, it's a crazy story. Growing up in my neighborhood, this was just a thing that happened. Like people still catalytic converters and try to sell them. I really wish that wasn't a thing that still happened, but hey, it still happens. All right, let's talk about my YouTube channel growing. So I've gained, I think it was telling me like over 132 subscribers or something, like for this year. To me, that's a lot. I know somebody's like, well, I gained a hell of a lot more more than that this month. And I'm trying to figure it out. Like my best performing video right now is my YouTube studio. Transform any bedroom into a studio space. That has 3,500 views. 30, I don't know why I said 3,600. It has 3,500 views. Oh, 3.6 views, 3.6K views, 215 hours. And I gained 86 subscribers from it. I like this video because I watch it a lot and I try to break down what makes this video successful. I'm trying to find the best system for videos. Like I give out good information and I feel like this video has so much to offer. And that's why it's pretty popular. I'm trying to build out more of a female watcher base. Like it says my viewer, my age and gender is at 100% male. Watch time subscribers, like I have people who've seen the video, it's 97.5%. Those are like random strangers, which is pretty much everybody. And 2.2% is how many of my subscribers watched it. So it gets me to think, okay, well, it doesn't matter what I do now because my subscribers don't really rock with it. So theoretically speaking, I can quite literally start a new niche or start a new channel within my channel and my subscribers wouldn't even notice, So yeah. So I have a lot of ideas that I want to do with my YouTube channel. Like I have this vision of pretty much reviewing other people's podcast spaces, reviewing, new equipment, practical equipment, going over my studio from every corner to figure out why I made these decisions. Because even now, like I'm thinking, wow, there's so many things I didn't mention in these videos. So yeah, I have this idea also where I want to reshoot my old videos that I was excited about. Because I have a bunch of videos that I shot years ago on YouTube and they're not doing too well. But the ideas are fresh, they're great, they're unique and they're different, but they don't also require me to be in the studio. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a good year. I promise to I promise to share more. I promise to share more thoughts and ideas. And with that being said, I want y'all to check out the link in the description of this episode. I'm talking about my Patreon. My Patreon, I go over a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I break down some of my thinking. Like even right now, I'm kind of like losing my mind here. I'm like, well, what did I just say? I kind of go over a lot of things, like my systems and processes of things. I kind of go over like why I pick one brand over another. It's a really fun spot to be in. Link is in the description if you want to show support and check that out. If not, I'll see y'all in the next podcast. Peace.